Hi, it's Ernie Garcia with Infinite Strides Personal Development and Life Coaching. This is the supplemental video that I promised for the Neutral Zone, which is part two of my blog series, Surviving the End of a Relationship. What I talked about in this blog was the phase after the initial shock kind of wears off, or the dust kind of finally settles a little bit, from the storm. This is a time where we process, dismantle, kind of evaluate, strategize. This is a time where we kind of figure out what our next move is. One of the things that I mentioned at the beginning of the blog was the kind of the urge, if you will. There's always that urge inside of us to find the fastest, quickest, most effective way to to stop the pain, if there's pain, to stop the confusion, to stop the trouble, basically. Naturally, our brains are wired to gravitate towards what feels good. So whenever we have a problem or something that's troubling, that's going on with us, we often look for the least path of resistance, kind of like electricity. So we look for what's going to make us feel better the fastest, the soonest, and the quickest. So one of the things that that was mentioned in there is we really need to take time to define exactly what the end means. We've got to figure out what has ended. If the relationship has truly ended, that's something that we need to figure out. In some cases, we're the catalyst for that change ourselves. We've decided to make this change for whatever reason. Relationships end for a variety of reasons, and sometimes, we figure that the best course of action for ourselves is to leave the relationship behind. So we need to really define what the end means. We need to define what has ended, which parts of our lives are effectively, over at that point, and which will continue. Another action step, and these are in no particular order, is we've got to acknowledge the end openly. I talk about in some of my other blogs and with my coaching clients that it's crucial when we're problem solving, when we've had some sort of change or some sort of problem that's really weighing us down, weighing on us, that we find an avenue for unloading. So we need to acknowledge that the end of this relationship openly. And there's a lot of different avenues for that to take place. We can do that with family and friends. We can do that, through our journals that we've talked about. I'm a big advocate of journaling. It's something that we need to acknowledge. We need to respect the past, because there's always a lesson there. It's good to always try to find the silver lining. There's a good friend of mine that I've been kind of in contact with over the last few weeks that's going through a tremendous change in his life. And this is a man that loved martial arts for years and years. And over the last 10 to 15 years, he has kind of set that, part of his life on a shelf. And it was truly one of his passions. This man is a black belt in Kenpo. And he was at one time an instructor, and it's been a huge part of his life that's been missing. So through this change that he's going through, this transition, we can either take a negative approach to the transition or a positive approach, but he's chosen to use some of his free time to re-engage in his passion, which is Kenpo. And that's just a really an amazing way to use that energy to bring about something positive, and something that that he's obviously missed in his life for quite some time now. So that's a really a productive way to to use this time of transition. So he found the silver lining. Um, we obviously, we gravitate towards pleasure with everything that we do um, in our lives, and we try to do whatever we can to get away from pain. So those are the two things that drive all behavior. What's important to evaluate is we need to um, focus on things that bring us pleasure in the long term, in the long run. I'm not a saint by any means at all, and I occasionally do, drink alcohol and have a good time, and I'm not condemning any of that behavior at all. But it's important not to use, alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, anything that that we should do in moderation, but we shouldn't use those things for a band-aid to cover up, the wound. Whether you're on the the receiving end of the breakup or the giving end, it's important to really take care of yourself so we can grow and improve during this time in the neutral zone. We need to figure out what's going to make us a better person, what's going to basically what what is broken we want to leave behind, and those are qualities that are in ourselves, and circumstances that happened in the past relationship. But also we want to take a look and and figure out what's working for us, and take that and make it a part of the new story. I'm a big fan also, not only of journaling, but of mapping. I like drawing boxes on a piece of paper with an idea. Drawing the roots, the ideas, and expanding on that thing, and mapping it out. I'm big time into strategy, and that's one of the things that I work on with my coaching clients is a strategy. So, so here we are, basically, in a position, as an example, where our world has been turned upside down. Either way, whatever end of the breakup that we're on, there's a big time change that's taken place. So, with that, what is the next move? Where do I want to go with my life at this point? And we're talking about, as an example, in this illustration, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What does my perfect life look like? What does my next relationship look like? What does my home life look like with my kids? You know, how effective of an employee do I want to be? Or who knows? Maybe in this time of transition where we want to, it's a good time to make changes in a lot of areas, because it frees us up to do a lot of things, as we begin to write a new story. So with that, it's really important to, if I can offer this, it's really important to really define the outcome in advance. Define the legacy in advance. What is it exactly that you want your grandkids to remember about you after you're gone? And when we do that, we have a target to aim at. We have the ultimate goal of where we're going, instead of trying to just hit a moving target. And I know that might sound a lot more linear than it does abstract, but it's really hard to hit a moving target. It's hard to move forward and to make progress when we don't know exactly where we want to go. So I would encourage you to really define the outcome of this change. I am at point A right now, possibly having to find a new place to live. Maybe I've decided to relocate altogether. So I'm at point A, but at point B, or point C or D, but basically the outcome, the end game, and that, could change along the way, but right now the end game is, I want to land on my feet. Eventually I want to have a new relationship, a new healthier marriage, one that serves me better, and one where I can be more supportive to a partner that's better for me, and a partner that I'm, just the person of her dreams also. That could be the outcome. You basically define exactly what it is that you're hopeful for, that you're looking for ultimately. And that goes for every area, because it's not just the relationship, that makes up your whole life. Us as life coaches, we talk about the whole life, not just areas. We talk about living congruently, because every area of our life, makes us, you know, whole. You know, we have finances, we have children, we have recreation, we have, you know, relationships, you know, whatever those areas are, that is your whole life. So a lot of times we try to compartmentalize, you know, these things, and we say, well, this is going good, this is going good, this is going good, this